everybody, hey guys, who out there today? Welcome back to another episode of Halloween at the Manor. This is going to be our haunt update video number 7. We are officially in the month of September, and you wouldn't know it here in Pennsylvania because it's like 90 degrees today. This global warming thing must be true. But anyway, as far as some of the things that I've done this week, I've predominantly been making repairs on our tombstones. I didn't really take a lot of footage of that. Honestly, it's basically just going over the tombstones. I used to use wood filler on those tombstones, and what I'm finding is that a lot of them have cracked, probably due to the temperature changes when we have them out in the yard. You know, it's warm during the day, cold at night. So what I was doing is basically just going over those old tombstones with some of the caulk that I bought and basically just repainting them. I did make 2 more new props, and I'll show you that in a couple seconds here. But what I'm gonna start working on today is, not really sure what to call this, but here, I'll show you real quick. I had this old facade that I used to hang up during Christmas, and I do like it. However, we used to hang it over the front window here, and honestly, I'm getting a little bit too old to do that. So what I'm gonna do is I wanna change this facade into, again, I'm not really sure what to call it, but I guess I'll call it I don't wanna call it a skull wall because it's not really a full wall. But what I'm gonna do is I bought all of these skulls today at the dollar store. I think I have like 22 here, then I have like 4 more over there. So I have like 26 in total. And what I'm gonna do is basically going to take these skulls, cut them in half using the saw. I'm gonna cut off like the back part here, and just using the spray foam. I'm gonna put spray foam all over this and just basically put the skulls in. It's gonna be very similar to what I did with the walkway here. Just kind of putting the foam in, laying the skulls in, and basically just making this a whole, I guess it calls a facade, a whole facade of skulls. So, and what I'm planning on doing is with this, I'm going to hang it somewhere in our haunt. I'm thinking maybe on the back of one of these panels here, so that when the kids are leaving, it would be like right in front of them as they're leaving. That's where I think I'm gonna put it, but that's what I'm gonna start working on today. But let me show you the 2 props that I made because they came out really, really cool.
Alright guys, so here's one of the new props that I built for the walkthrough. I found this vampire mask on partycity.com for 30 bucks. It was originally $40. I also got an additional 15% off, so this thing came out to be roughly 25 bucks. And it is an absolutely incredible mask. I would definitely pick this one up if you're interested in getting a really cool vampire mask. So this guy is well over 6 feet tall. He's probably like 6'3", 6'4". And like all the other props, the base is a wood frame, and I used the weed blocker fabric from Home Depot to make the cloak. This thing looks absolutely amazing in person, and I guarantee you he is going to freak somebody out in the walkthrough this year. So the second prop I built actually several years ago, I think it was 2018, for one of our Halloween parties. We had a Stephen King theme, and this guy was Mr. Barlow from Salem's Lot. I think we got the mask on eBay, which is a really great mask. The hands I painted to match the mask. It's kind of close, it's not exact, but you get the point. I also had this really old jacket in my closet, and we used that to kind of make it be his robe. The feet are just 3/4 inch plywood spray painted black. And he is wearing black pants. It's kind of hard to see with the jacket. Vanessa found some old black pants in her closet that we ended up using. And the last thing is we did throw an old black t-shirt on him as well. Now, he is going to go into the haunt. He's not a very tall prop, maybe about 5'7", 5'8". But I kind of look at him as maybe like the elder vampire of the clan, and the plan is to put him in a corner. And I think if someone comes around the corner and sees him, sees that blue mask and hands, I think they're really going to get freaked out. So I think he's going to be a really cool addition to the haunt. So those are the props that I built for now, and let's take a look at the skull facade. The first thing I needed to do is cut the skulls in half. I used my saw to speed things up. However, you can use a knife or a box cutter. Once I had all the skulls cut, I laid out my design on the plywood. My initial idea was to use pool noodles to trim the facade. However, I ended up using the spray foam instead. I also made this shelf as well. I used 3 different sizes of wood, a 1x4, a 1x3, and then a 2x2. I thought this would give the facade a nice presentation. The next step was to start laying down the spray foam. I sprayed the foam directly on the plywood, laid the skull down, and then filled in the gaps between the individual skulls. Once the foam is down, spray it with water to speed up the drying process. When the foam becomes non-sticky, you can start to shape it. I basically just push the foam down, sealing up any gaps between the skulls. The next step was to paint the facade. I started off going over the entire facade with a black spray paint. Once the black spray paint dried, I dry brushed on a gray paint to really bring out the texture of the spray foam. The final step was to sponge, stipple on a white paint to bring out even more of the detail.
Alright guys, so I finished painting the, what I guess I'll call the skull facade. I really don't know what to call this thing. I guess you can call it a skull wall, but it really isn't. But anyway, it's I think it came out pretty cool. I tried to focus on making the skulls a little bit more whiter than the foam. I try to make the foam look darker, more like a stone, and then try to have the skulls pop a little more. And I think it came out pretty cool. I was going to use the pool noodles around here to kind of make like a little trim, but I decided that I had enough spray foam to kind of just fill it in there, and that's what I ended up doing. But overall, I don't think this was too bad. I think Vanessa said I used 39 skulls. But anyway, like I said, this started off as an old Christmas facade. The backing is just the plywood that I use, that 5mm plywood that I always use. I did put this little piece of wood in here and a hook in here so we can hang it in the haunt. And I have a feeling that we're actually going to end up hanging this in the house after Halloween's over, because we just both really like it and think it's pretty cool. And it's a pretty big piece of skull art, if you will. It's 4 feet wide, and I think it's about 3.5 feet tall, so it ended up coming out to be a pretty decent sized little thing. But anyway, overall, like I said, I'm pretty happy with the way it came out, and on to the next project.